Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's episode of the Glow podcast. I am here with a super exciting guest today. I have Alisar from Revision Skincare with me, and we are going to be talking about all things skincare. And she has a really fun background, so I think she'll be able to give a super interesting perspective. But if you are new here, welcome to the Glow podcast. We are Tailored Marketing, and we specialize in all things marketing for skincare and aesthetic brands. So if you're interested, drop a comment below. Alisar, I'm so excited to have you here today. Thank you so much for coming on. If you can, could you just kind of go ahead and introduce yourself, give us a little bit more information on your background, just so the audience kind of knows who you are.
Taylor, thank you for having me. This is super exciting. So, Alisar Zahr, PhD. I have my doctorate degree, my PhD in chemical engineering, focused on drug delivery, specifically cancer chemotherapy. It's a mouthful, but it's really fun because it really means that I'm a super nerd. I love engineering. I like to create solutions for unmet needs. And there's a huge world of unmet needs in skincare. And that's how my passion for engineering kind of morphed into being in skincare and developing unique formulations that can target anti-aging, right? So that's me.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's such a cool background, honestly, like with the chemical engineering side of it and then going into skincare. I'm sure, I mean, there's so many possibilities with skincare, as you obviously know. So like that's super, super cool. And so what kind of inspired your beginning into skincare with obviously your background in chemical engineering?
That's a great question. So really, I was doing my postdoctoral fellowship. So after your PhD, if you want to be a professor, you do more research. And that was the role that I was looking for. I wanted to go and become a professor. And so I did two fellowships. And after I don't know, maybe 8 years of all this research, more than that, I decided that I need to see my innovations really hit the countertops and helping patients and working in working in ophthalmology, eye diseases and cancer and even like blood diseases like atherosclerosis. The solutions were so far downstream that I wouldn't see those engineering solutions come to play for patients. So I had a friend that did her PhD with me at Penn State University, and she was at Johnson Johnson Consumer. So I gave her my resume, and I got into J&J, and I joined Johnson Johnson, and I was supporting technology transfer. So I was taking formulations and scaling them up and creating them for everybody to see. So my products, my innovations, some of my things that I touched and played with, they were on the marketplace within a year to 2 years. So I felt an overwhelming sense of pride and accomplishment. And that was really fun. So skin is the largest organ of the body. I've always been interested in beauty and cosmetics in general, being from a Lebanese family and having a mother who loved makeup and makeup. I
Yeah.
was in general, like I always have been obsessed with makeup. So it just worked. Like my hobbies and like makeup and like aesthetics going into like formulation. So it just worked out for me. And I've been with Revision Skincare for now 7 years and 6 months, and it's been really wonderful. So getting to work on all things skincare has been just very gratifying. Yeah.
Yeah, that's super, super cool. And yeah, it's like when you were talking about, your passion for like makeup, skincare, kind of all of
Mhm.
that aesthetic side of things, and then also the chemical engineering, and then those two passions kind of coming together. So that's super, super cool. And so, yeah, right now you're at Revision Skincare. That's
Yep.
super amazing. So, what kind of led you to Revision? Obviously, like you were with Johnson and Johnson, and then how kind of did paths cross where you're at now?
So it's really funny because when I got to J&J, I wanted really nothing to do with research because I was so researched out, like publications, presentations. I wanted just to like be in the lab, be in manufacturing and do something completely different. And so I was there for close to 7 years, and I got to a point where I missed the science, I missed the education, I missed publications and writing, like doing the clinical research, the biology, the chemistry. And it led me into revision from that. I mean, I moved to Dallas for another opportunity, and that opportunity didn't pan out. And I had a really great network of friends that were in the industry, and they put me in contact with the chief scientific officer, Tatiana Kononov. And it's like love at first sight in a way, but like
Yeah.
it was career love, career love at first sight. And speaking to her and our CEO, Maria Carell, I felt like Revision would be the place where I could take all my passion for formulation, engineering, clinical research, presentations, and do it. And I've been doing that, and it's like a real dream. So, super happy to be here. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And so Revision is kind of known for addressing unmet needs in aesthetics. Can you share what that means kind of with us in practical terms, and also how it kind of influences product development at Revision as well?
When we think about we sell to physicians, so whether plastic surgeons, dermatologists, estheticians, nurse practitioners, like anything in the medical practice, as we travel and present and like collaborate with these individuals, they explain to us like some of the hurdles that they have with their patients. Like the best example is our post-procedure cream. It's called CMT post-procedure cream. Two physicians came to us. They were plastic surgeons that um, they use energy-based devices to pretty much like peel off the skin and regenerate the skin on the face of men and women. And one of the downfalls or the points of like points where the patients don't want to return to that procedure is the pain and the discomfort, the downtime. So I'm talking about like laser resurfacing. There's different modalities, ones that have like a downtime of 2 days or 3 days or 14 days to a month and 3 months. So it's how they came to us and said, how can you create a solution that can be used post procedure to help alleviate that heat, the itching, the stinging, and the downtime? So that's an unmet need, right? These physicians came to Revision. They have this laser resurfacing techniques, but their patients don't come to a full series because you actually have to typically do 3 series, like, and they're usually 1 to 3 months apart. So they saw that patients would come to the first procedure, but they wouldn't return for the second or third. So we deliver solutions by creating products that can help with discomfort. So our CMT post-procedure cream, it stands for chemical, mechanical, and thermal. It contains really unique ingredients called neurocosmetics that play on the skin and the brain. So really, you can put a product on your skin. It targets certain receptors that communicate to the brain, and that's like the world of neurocosmetics. So we find really unique solutions to help patients get through that hurdle of that discomfort. So that's an example. We
Yeah.
constantly have an advisory board of physicians and estheticians that we connect with. I spend most of my time speaking to them. Does that help a little bit?
Yeah, no, it definitely does. I feel like that's super super helpful, cuz like what you guys are doing basically is you have people within the industry that are coming to you and telling you what these unmet needs are, and it's like then you are creating the solutions from there kind of based off of what they're telling you. And I mean
Yeah.
what they need, and
Yeah.
that's what people want. Like if they need something, or if like you have people like physicians having their patients not coming back for additional laser treatments because of the pain, because of the itching, because of the downtime, then it's like, okay, we need a solution for this.
That's one of many examples. And so then we make the product in the lab, we run different types of testing. We have just really clinically robust clinical testing methods that we've created the last 7.5 years. And that's what sets us up apart from the smaller indie brands, or maybe some of the companies that don't invest heavily in clinical research. And it's a lot of money up front. I mean,
Yeah.
these studies can range from like $3,000 to $300,000. So and you need that investment to run the research. And most physicians that want to sell the products and they want to stand behind the science, they need to realize, or they have to appreciate that there is science, and they have to agree to it. Like, so they review the literature, they review our science, we present it to them. I was just actually on a call with the board, our scientific advisory board on Monday, and they're poking holes, and that's good because it makes me a better scientist and I can create better solutions for their patients. So I don't mind them poking holes. That makes me stronger. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good. I mean, like you said too, when people are like kind of poking holes in your work, it's like you can sometimes get defensive, but it's also a good thing, you know, especially like from a consumer perspective, because that means that everybody in the company is really committed to making a better product, you know.
Agree.
And ultimately like making it, like you said, like better science too, you know.
Yeah. I was going to say that's one thing you learn as a PhD, especially in your postdoc. When I was at Harvard Medical School, I was doing my postdoctoral fellowship in ophthalmology, and I was really the only chemical engineer PhD. They were all biologists, chemists, and they would just sit there and throw stones like constantly at me, like trying to poke my work. And you had to have this thick skin because it's just going to make you better. So I don't really mind when there's disagreement because through that you learn. So I enjoy it. Like some
Yeah.
people don't, but it's like integrated in my DNA to handle conflict. I like it.
Yeah. Well, that's good then. It works out well for
Yeah.
sure. And so you all just launched a new barrier moisturizer with
Mm.
circadian rhythm focus. What kind of makes this product, this specific product, stand out with like the current landscape in the skincare market?
Oh, I love that question. Yeah. So Derm Protect Barrier Defense, that's actually that was formulated because we have products in our lineup that are moisturizers, but they're not heavy duty moisturizers that can be used for those that have mature skin or anybody that really needs a more like a thicker emollient product that's still kind of breathable. The difference of that product versus other competitors is that it's targeting the root cause of barrier disruption, and that's the circadian rhythm. Others treat the symptoms by delivering lipids and ceramides, the building blocks of our skin. Our skin is a lipid bilayer that has like cholesterol and ceramides and phospholipids that makes it like water resistant in a way. Other companies will help with delivering solutions, but not targeting the root cause. And through our research and realizing the circadian rhythm in the body is really also connected to the skin, we know that, for example, shift workers, if you see some shift workers or those that even travel often, their skin gets really dry. And that's
Yeah.
because different the rhythm of your skin, your 24-hour cycle is really important for that moisture barrier. And the moisture barrier is also connected to the microbiome. So that's part of our formulation philosophy. And so it did so well because it's resetting and regulating the circadian rhythm. And so we did a 14-day moisturization study, and we saw that patients that had dry and very dry skin were able to rebound and have a better moisture barrier, which I think was really unique. So yeah.
Yeah. No, that's super cool. Yeah, I honestly didn't even know that too. That the 24-hour cycle is really important for the skin. So that's cool because I mean it's important for the rest of your body. So why would it not be important for the skin
Yeah, because
too?
your skin's your the largest organ of the body, right? So
Yeah.
there's going to be more, you'll see more brands speaking about the circadian rhythm because a lot of companies are realizing that sleep is so important. And so sleep also in barrier health and melatonin and how do you like cortisol levels and stress and it's all connected together. So like cortisol will peak in the afternoon, in the morning afternoon, and melatonin peaks at night. But you want to have those peaks regulated and how do you do that? Well, you have to have a better circadian rhythm. And you think about mindfulness practices, right? The whole well-being is like important functional medicine. So skincare can tap into that and help with that whole body experience. That's what I think our
Yeah.
products are doing too. So
No,
yeah.
that's super super cool. So, with kind of, do you guys have any upcoming launches, and what should kind of practitioners and consumers be most excited about with these upcoming launches?
So we just launched something 2 weeks ago on June 2nd. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. We launched a exfoliator. It's called triple action exfoliator. And this came from our aestheticians. They wanted a product that can have effective exfoliation because we had this one product called Finishing Touch that we had to discontinue due to some sustainability issues that we had from the raw materials. So we wanted to be more sustainability conscious. Finishing Touch was discontinued and we had this, we had like a gap in our portfolio and we had our
Yeah.
esthetician saying, well, we need a really like great exfoliator, but one that doesn't really affect the skin barrier so much and causes irritation. So if you look at the landscape of all these exfoliation products, some have they're clay based, some are gel based, some have physical exfoliators, chemical or enzymatic. So we decided, because revision is revision, we created one that has physical, chemical, and also enzymatic. And but the key technology is it's an emulsion that contains two really unique ingredients that will, as you're scrubbing your skin, they deposit on your skin due to charge. So it's like my chemistry and my chemical engineering background coming here again, where
Yeah.
you have like hyaluronic acid is really important for hydration. So we found one that is a patented technology coming from France that we were able to utilize in the formulation. And this hyaluronic acid, I think every consumer knows what hyaluronic acid is. It's
Yeah.
boosting hydration, absorbs water. It actually is positively charged. Positive charges interact well with negative charges on the skin, so it's going to deposit on the skin. Similarly, we found a microbiome ingredient that does the same thing. So you're scrubbing your skin, but you're also depositing nourishing ingredients to the skin. So it's exfoliation without the irritation. So it's really unique. So
That
that
is
should be
super
exciting.
unique. Yeah, that is really, really exciting. And you said estheticians were coming kind of asking for this. So what kind of like, what are they primarily using that for with clients?
They do that in the back, in the back bar or in their room when they're getting a patient ready for any maybe like derm abrasion or
Okay.
dermaplaning, microneedling, or hydrofacials. You need to set the skin up or you defat it. So there's different steps. They can use a toner, they can use some alcohol, but if they can scrub away and polish some of the dead skin, they would want that for the patient. So that's
Yeah.
what they were. So we have an esthetician advisory board from all over the country, different estheticians that we meet, and they helped us. They tested out the product, different prototypes, and the final prototype, we were able to align with them on it, and they did a self-assessment questionnaire. So they were able to show that this product, after a one-time use, can help the skin become smoother and softer, which is really unique. And they would recommend it for their patients. And it's another product that can be taken home in between treatments as well.
That's cool. Yeah, yeah, no, that's super awesome. And so you mentioned you guys have an esthetician like board kind of where you're going to get this information from them of like, hey, we need this, or like we see a gap in the market here. Do you have other boards for like where you're getting kind of your new innovations and ideas from?
Yeah, so we also have this thing called the Scientific Advisory Board. It's composed of 8 physicians, dermatologists, and plastic surgeons, and we meet with them every quarter. And yeah, we had just met with them on Monday. So we were talking about our newer innovations that are coming in the next few years. And so they help us. They review clinical data. They help us with the positioning to physicians as well as to consumers. They review even like the name of the product and provide feedback on it and the formulation. And they test it out as well. And we run a lot of our clinical studies with them. So there's ways that they come to us and say, hey, have you thought about this technology? Where does it play with revision? So they're really helping us out as well. So there's different ways that we tap into that innovation. So there's the estheticians, there's the physicians. Also, we have a group of nurse practitioners that also help us as well. And then myself and the research and clinical development team, we travel
Yeah.
globally to meet with scientists and physicians. So we're really always busy, but
Yeah.
always innovating. Yep.
Yeah. No, and I feel like that's so cool too that you guys meet with every like people at every kind of stage of the process too to make sure that you're not missing out on anything. And then recently, I know you told me you were in Japan. Do you want to
Mhm.
talk a little bit more kind of about that trip?
Yeah.
What you did kind of there and yeah.
So that was really fun. So we went to Tokyo. It was during Memorial Day weekend. So we were there for I think 7 days, but it was 4 days of intense presentations. But what was so cool was we created this immersive experience. We wanted the physicians, our top 30 physicians in Japan, to experience revision in a different way. So they got to learn more about our timeline of innovations, and they also got to learn more about the ingredients and the formulations. So they got to play with the ingredients, smell the ingredients, and then we had a whole panel discussion where the six different physicians in different nights would interview me and ask questions, and I would answer questions, but also ask them questions. So it was intimate. Every group was around 10 to 13 physicians. And it was just a very different experience because before it was like I would just lecture, but instead it was more like I think about a big billboard of like all the innovations on the board. And I was standing there and going through and giving them like little nuggets of information of how this product is important for their patient. And then we did the same thing with the ingredients as well. So it was really fun.
Yeah.
It got them out of their comfort zone for just sitting in a lecture. It was more like interactive. So that was really unique. Yeah.
That's super cool too. And the education piece of it is, so important because it's like we can have all these different products, but if people and the people using them like don't understand what they're used
Right.
for, it's like
It's difficult.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely very difficult. So that's super super cool. And so right now too, so give me one second. We can edit this.
No worries.
And so, revision places a big emphasis on skin longevity and visible results. Can you kind of explain to people who aren't familiar with the term what skin longevity means and, other terms that can go along with this, with kind of like anti aging and things like that too?
I think the best way to explain longevity is it's not here, like here in the now. It's what are you doing today to set up your skin for success in the future, right?
Yeah.
There's this whole movement right now. Let's just skip skincare for a second. Think about women in their 30s and 40s. What can they do now, lifting weights to help them when they're menopausal to ensure they have the strength? Because we know that building muscle actually helps reduce Alzheimer's risk. There's all this data showing that what you're doing today is going to help you when you're in your 50s and your 60s and your 70s. So that's longevity. It's like, so in terms of skincare, what am I putting on my skin today to support those aging factors to slowly repress them and reverse them? And skin longevity, it looks at formulations that support skin health, that can actually boost energy, that can stop the cells from going into senescence, also called zombie cells, so that if you're in your 30s or your 20s, can you use different techniques, skincare techniques that can help you when you're in your 40s and your 50s? Because when you reach your 40s, you're losing, I mean, even when you're 20s, you're losing collagen every year, right? Any less. And that leads to skin health not being optimal. The longevity of the skin is, can we increase the function of the biology of our skin? So when we're in the 10 to 20 or 30 years from now, our skin is healthy in all aspects, like not only just fine lines and appearance and sagging skin, but like think about skin cancer and pigmentation, overall skin health. So that's longevity in a
Yeah.
nutshell. And the
Yeah.
analogies of like what's happening right now and like the movement of even intermittent fasting. There's a whole conversation. Should women intermittent fast every day? Because women's biology is very different than men, right? So it's so exciting because I love health and I love science. So I get to play in that world and it's enjoyable. So revision it's in our DNA. We've been focusing on long-term skin health and choosing ingredients that are helping the skin repair. So it's slowly reducing aging.
Yeah, no, that's super cool. And I feel like people too now are starting to kind of see more of the intersection with skincare and health, Like
Yeah.
if you are healthy, then your skin and your hair are going to reflect like the kind of internal aspect of your health. And then if you're maybe struggling or like if you're stressed out at work or
Yeah.
you're going through something that's affecting you internally, then externally you're kind of going to see that as well too.
Yeah, it eventually catches up with you. I mean, personally, for example, I suffered from eczema for a very long time, and I found out, not because I went to physicians, because in my mind, as a scientist, I can figure things out. I have a gluten intolerance, and when I would eat gluten, the next day I would flare up with eczematic hives.
Yeah.
And so I would treat it with steroids, but then my skin would hypopigment. So there would be small dots of white pigmentation everywhere. And I'm like, this is not pretty. I don't feel happy about this. So what could I cut out from my diet to help my gut microbiome? And interestingly enough, your gut microbiome, or in general, the microbiome, is a factor of aging. So you need to treat what you eat in your gut, because what ends up happening is when there's inflammation and disturbances in your gut, it actually manifests on your skin, because it's going to purge out. Your skin is going to be so angry and it's going to purge. And after all these years of eating gluten, my skin wasn't happy and I had eczema, and now my eczema is controlled. I don't take any medication for it. I just don't eat gluten. And
Yeah.
I have now slowed down my aging in my gut, which is great.
Yeah,
So
no, that's awesome. Yeah, it's crazy how much like what we're eating affects us
yeah,
internally and externally.
right.
It's like one of the biggest kind of factors that is somewhat easy to control.
It is.
It's easier than a lot of other things that you can't control with different like environmental factors and things like that. But what you're putting in
Agree.
your body is, somewhat easy to control, I would say.
The other thing that you can control, I mean, there's studies on this, is wearing sunscreen every single day.
Yeah.
There was in May, it was the Cancer Awareness Month. It was important to note that skin cancer is constantly on the rise. It boggles my mind, because there are methods for us to support our skin health. And we know that wearing sunscreen at least once a day can help with reversing aging and actually putting cancer cells at bay. So there's ways us humans can help ourselves live longer and healthier. So it's not only like living longer, it's like living healthier in those later years of life. So I can go on forever on it, but it's like one of my favorite subjects to speak about. And if I speak about it, I have to preach. I mean, I have to also live it. And I think I do live it. Like, I watch what I eat, I work out, I wear good skincare, I take care. I mean, I'm not perfect, but I'm trying to
Yeah.
be, so that, I'm trying
No,
to live healthier.
yeah, none of us can be perfect. I feel like when you have the expectation for perfection, that's when it's like you're just going to disappoint yourself. It's like
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to do like the best that I can. But yeah, no, you brought up a really other great point. One of the easiest things people can do too is wear sunscreen. It's something that's super super affordable, and like, it's not hard to do. If when you're putting on your moisturizer in the morning, just put on a sunscreen, like
Yeah.
a sunscreen over top.
It's so funny, because I remember being like 13 or even 12. I have a twin sister. She's a physician, so I call her she's a real doctor. But she always was like, you have to wear this. It was Olay at SPF 20 back in the day. I mean, maybe before you were born, who knows? I know I'm older
Yeah.
than you, but like, there was Olay SPF 20, and she's like, you have to wear this every single day. I'm like, but why? And I love science, but I didn't understand the risk of cancer. She was obsessed with like cancer and just the science of that and just general. So I was wearing sunscreen moisturizer since I was like about 13, 12 or
Wow.
13. And I think that really has helped like slow down some aging too. So I thank her for that
Probably.
too. Yeah. So
Yeah, no, I definitely believe it. I wish I had been wearing sunscreen that long when I was younger. I was like,
no one likes it. The thing is, back then they didn't have the unique materials and ingredients that makes things nice and smooth and smells good.
yeah,
Now the technology has leaps and bounds. So like there should be a sunscreen that you like, whether you're purchasing, Revision or like Alta MD or Neutrogena or Cetaphil. I mean, I can go on. There's a
so
sunscreen
many.
for everyone. There
Yeah.
is, So yeah.
No, especially too in like our face. I feel like that's the most important place to put sunscreen, because no matter what you're wearing, your face is always out. So yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. And so what's kind of next for Revision? Like, what are you guys working on over the next year or so, or whatever you can share?
It's really, yeah, I can't share much, but I can tell you what we're doing
Yeah.
is that we're disruptive, because we're changing the way we think of like skincare. We're bringing in technologies that may have been in medical devices, for example, or may have come from, like, example, neurocosmetics from the brain skin axis, or the gut microbiome, bringing it to the skin. So we're doing things that are very different, that are going to support estheticians and physicians and their customers. So we're going to have solutions for them maybe to have faster results without disrupting long-term skin health. So that should be interesting. And I'm working on the calendar for like the next 5 to 8 years. So it's not even just my
Yeah.
1 year calendar. Everything for next year is almost done. So we're in the midst of clinicals. I'm thinking about like 5 years from now. So it's very busy. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and it's so exciting too, for sure, to be able to like look that far ahead. But it's also like, I feel like with looking that far ahead, sometimes it puts a lot of pressure on you too, because you're like, okay, what if something else new like comes along,
Yeah.
you know?
It's hard, but we're usually ahead of the trends because what we do like is we attend conferences globally and we meet with so many different people. So we hear what's happening. Like even especially when I was in Japan, learning what is happening in Korea and all the
Yeah.
devices that are going from Korea to Japan, eventually that will make it to America. It's just like mind-boggling. Like the different fillers that they have, the way that they're thinking about skin health. It's like very different, like modalities mixed together. So we're taking on that experience and we're bringing it to revision. So it's really different and unique. Yeah.
That's super, super cool. That's awesome. Yeah, it's always fun to hear what's going on in Korea with the skincare for sure. I
Well,
like,
yeah,
they're so ahead, you know? It's
they're
like
so ahead.
everything that they're doing, we'll see here in like 5 to 10 years, probably,
Yeah,
you
I
know?
saw this really cool mask. Like we have a biocellulose mask, but there's like a biocellulose mask that has like a button you press on your head and it has microcurrents. And these microcurrents allow for your product that you put on your face to like seep into the skin. It's like, what? Like, I want
Yeah.
that. How can I get that? You know, like I want to bring it to revision. So there's things that really that they're doing that I have not seen. And so we have an eye on Korea. I mean, we don't travel there, but we meet with suppliers from Korea. I do have an ingredient, like many ingredients that come from Korea because they're super innovative and their scientists are just like phenomenal,
Yeah.
phenomenal. So yeah.
No, that's super, super cool. Well, awesome. Well, tell everyone where they can find you, where they can find Revision as
Yes.
well. And I'll also drop it all in the show notes too, so it's easy
Okay.
access for everybody.
Thank you, Taylor. So revisionskincare.com. You can go on our website. We also have an Instagram handle at Revision Skincare. If you want to follow me, I'm also on Instagram. It's Dr. Alisar Zahr. And I try to do these really fun walk and talks with my Shiba Inu. His name is Kiko. He's super stubborn, but when I do them either on Friday or Saturday, I talk about different scientific things that are happening or just like where I've traveled to and what I've learned. So it's just like all my stories, I just jump in and try to drag him into the heat in Dallas. So it should be fun. And I want to engage more with our consumers that have questions. They can always ping me on Instagram. Happy to answer when I have a chance. So thank you for this opportunity, Taylor. This is really fun. I really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm so appreciative that you came on and it was amazing. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Take care. Thank you.